Life is sweet. Let it sweep you off your feet.
Start the recording. And then do you need to agree to that or anything? I'm not sure how this works.
No, I'm fine.
Woo, okay. Well, hi, everybody. This is Ali from Find Your Joy. I am so thrilled and excited to finally be getting to spend some time with the amazing Dr. Ida Greene. Dr. Ida Greene, she is a soul whisperer. She does soul readings, Akashic records, a marriage and family therapist, intuitive life coach, clairvoyant, she channels messages from God and the angels and just so many beautiful things, a minister. We could spend an hour with me just talking about a tiny bit of the things that you do in your beautiful life, and you're serving so many people with so much love. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you here. So I've got to ask, your list of things that you do, that did not come overnight. That is a long process. That is a trail that we could go on for a very long time to find out. But if you could just briefly give us an idea about what you do and how you came to be this incredible person that you are.
Okay, thank you. I coach spiritual women to use their inner GPS in business and sales to find sales, clients, cash flow, and have fun. Now, how I started on this journey was I really got married to a man, and I was not listening to my inner guides, my intuition, and ended up marrying someone who was physically, emotionally abusive. And I had to figure out how to get out of that relationship. And that really started me on my journey, because I thought, at the time I was a registered nurse. I had my bachelor's in counseling. I was working on my licensed marriage and family counseling. I thought, if I'm this educated, it can happen to me, it can happen to anyone. Right. So I started teaching self-esteem, self-love. I lost all my confidence for who I was. I gave up my own identity to be in love. So I wanted family, wanted to be loved. So I paid a price for that. But I used that experience to learn how to help myself and help others, because I just realized that we don't have to give up who we are to be loved. I learned that out later, found that out later. So I started on this journey of helping other people to look into the inner guide, look at their self-esteem, their self-worth, and really started writing. I wrote 22 books, you know. So oh my gosh. I just started on this journey of developing myself and helping myself. And as I started listening more to my inner guidance, then I became more aware. And now I'm teaching other people. I have a class now to teach people how to awaken their inner guidance. And I have the ability to ignite and to reignite their inner guidance. So I have a class right now that I'm teaching, and I just started doing these soul readings, and this is awesome. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. Tell people where they are in their life, where's the next step they need to go to, and what is blocking them from getting to where they need to be. So it's just ordinary people. I mean, really, I'm just so delighted to have and bring everyone into this fold, because everyone has inner guidance. They have their wisdom, but we don't know it, we don't recognize it. And like me, I ignored it. It was telling me things and I didn't listen to it. Right. God kept telling me, stop eating sugar so your intuition can get better. And I love sugar, I'm just gonna keep eating it. My blood sugar went up to 500. I gave it up. So now God has fixed it. So whenever I eat sugar, my stomach hurts. But I had to listen. I had to start listening to the inner guidance, and now I'm closely listening. Every word, every day that comes through me comes from the Holy Spirit. It just beautiful words of wisdom. So I really invite people to take time to listen to the inner guidance. First, they have to recognize it. People dismiss it. They call it the feeling, the instinct. They call it everything. The sixth sense. Is whatever it is, there's only one energy force in the universe, and that's divine energy of God. And people just ignore that. So I've ignored it, but I've learned not to listen. I'm listening closely every second of the day.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I love what you said, that you're learning things like even what you put into your body can impact how we're able to hear. I know that from my own life, you know, I said when I was younger, man, we used to do all kinds of crazy things, party and whatever. And nowadays, I eat a chocolate bar and I wake up the next morning and you'd think I drank a 26 or a tequila. I'm so out of it. It's like horrible. It's like, but as we clean up our system and part of it is aging or something, I personally recognize I don't hear as clearly in my own life or make as sound of decisions when I'm putting things in my body that my body has to fight to get through. It's like a cloud, right? I mean, it's this constant cloud. That's amazing. So you started, how wonderful, like you said, you already had a nursing degree and a bachelor's degree in counseling. So you were already there when you started. So that's an incredible, what would I want to call that? A diving board, you know, that you got to bound off of that to go towards all of the other things. So what started the spiritual side of it for you? Because there's such a strong spiritual component for you.
It is. Now, my mother, we didn't call it then. My mother was psychic. My sister was clairvoyant, but they didn't talk about that. I just knew that there was a spiritual part of me. But I was so into education because my dad wanted me to have an education, and that was a driving force. And so I just followed my dad's leaning. And when he died, then I started following my mother's leaning, that intuitive stuff. It was there all the time, but I was not paying attention to it because I was into this education. But once I started looking, I got all the education I needed. Then I really went to my spiritual path. So it took me going from where my dominant place were to going to the place that God wanted me to go, which is my intuition and the guidance. But I really had to start trusting and having faith, and because I thought, who will I become? What's going to happen to me? I'm going to become something different. So I had to learn to trust. So the biggest lesson for me is just to trust. And because whenever I get up to speak, God would change the words I put on the paper. I thought, oh my God. I started listening to what I was saying because these words were coming through me, not in me.
Yes. So I know exactly what you mean. When you're writing and then you have to stop and read it because you're not even sure what you just put on because the spirit is just moving. Your whatever people want to call it, intuition, the spirit, or however it works. There is a time when we're moving in something and we're just participating.
Absolutely. Right now, I just let it use my body, keep it clean and my mind clean and my body clean, and just let spirit take over. Let God take over.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So you were saying that you are doing a course right now. You're teaching a course now. Is that an online course? Is that something? Can people do that around the world to join you? How does that work?
Well, they can right now, since I just started in San Diego, I started doing these soul reads. I invited people into my 7-week class I'm taking right now on awakening and guidance. But I'm starting another class the 1st of April. So they can reach me at www.calendly.com/Dr. Ida Greene /30-minute.
Okay.
If they want the reading, is 15 minutes. You know, now the reading at the $97, but they want to join the class. The soul reading is $97, but the one during the class, they probably need to have 30 minutes to talk to me about what they need, you know, ask any questions about the class. But for the reading is just channeling from God, and it's $97. And and my phone number, in case they can't schedule me on Calendly, is 619-262-9951.
Well, that's awesome. Well, what we will be doing is at the end of the broadcast, when I post this, I'll have all your information and I'll make sure that everyone is able to get in touch with you that way. I was going to ask, so for me, the whole reason that I started this podcast was to show people all the different ways that people find their joy. I wrote I've done a few books, but my book, The Art of Healing Trauma, was about kind of coming from a very dark place and how I found joy in the midst of all of that, how there was it's not an easy path, as you know, you've come out of an abusive relationship, but going towards that joy. And so what I'm always looking for is ways for the listeners to say, wherever they're at, whether they are in a position where, like you, they already had a few degrees under their belt, and that might seem like it's an easier road, and there might be some easier things, but it's really about, how do I get from where I am right now to finding my joy? And so what did that look like for you?
Well, for anyone, I really recommend taking 10 to 20 minutes every day, just having a spiritual practice. For me, my spiritual practice is daily word, the Bible, other spiritual literature that's going to motivate me. But they can do, and then I take 20 minutes twice a day to just be still and listen and see what Spirit has to tell me. And I get a lot of ideas. Also, Spirit speaks to me at nighttime. So between 3 and 4 o'clock, Spirit is talking.
Beautiful,
so
beautiful.
I stay up, so I'm going to bed late so that I can get those messages. But there's a time, but usually their spirit is really active between 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning. If you ever want to, tap into that. But if you're not, can't get up at night to do that, then take time every day. Take time, 10 minutes to 20 minutes. Just sit still, be still, and something will happen. You eventually hear a voice telling you, "I'm here," whatever you hear.
Yes.
Excuse me. And this voice is very soft and very distinct, so you have to be quiet. And your mind, there's been a lot of thoughts going through your mind.
Right,
just
right.
a lot of thoughts, but they're going to maybe just one thought that can guide you through the day. And then you want to be in gratitude before you start your meditation. You're be in gratitude after you said thank you, Spirit, Source, God, whatever you want to call that. But just visiting me today. The more thankful and more gratitude we are, the more it shows up, and the more it speaks louder and more intently.
Right, that's beautiful. And I love that how it's so open, the way that you say it, the open invitation, because sometimes people, I think, can be nervous to even reach out to, like you said, Spirit, God, universe, whatever someone might call it. And like you, I like to think, if I can just still myself, and that's not easy for someone like me, someone like most people I know. It's
me
at
either.
First it's fast and furious, the thoughts are coming, and I'm okay with that. I'm like, that's okay, I just wait, and I just invite. And in any way that Spirit wants to say, I'm here. And there's a multitude of ways. What are some of the ways that you feel like, and especially in the early days, what are some of the ways that you felt you were connecting with Spirit?
What I found is that I was always being guided, being told things. And the more I started listening, like, go this direction, go that direction, I found that when I wasn't following that intuition and the guidance, and there was a traffic jam or whatever, so I thought I gotta start listening to this more often, because it's gonna help me to avoid some problems. So the more I started listening, the easier my life became, because it's just really simple thing is finding a parking space, having someone call me, just really being on a podcast. Like I was on a podcast the other day. The lady said, "How did you find me?" I said, "I found you in my inner guidance. It just led me to you."
It's so just, it's beautiful. I love that.
I find a penny, a dime, a nickel every day. So God wants me to know that He's going to take care of me. I can just, I tell myself I'm employed by God. Right. I can do whatever I want. And He sends me clients, He sends me money. I was $75,000 in credit card debt. He let me find a way to pay that off. Beautiful. That's a huge thing, But I just really, and I never have to pick up the phone to call my clients. My phone rings and people call me. But the more you trust that source and that Spirit to take care of you, the more it will take care of you. But you have to have faith, trust, and rely on it to provide for you. That's what I had to challenge, is really doubting that God's going to take care of me. So now He let me know every day I find a penny, at least a penny every day.
A beautiful little reminder.
On a ride.
Isn't that wonderful? Just that little reminder. And what's interesting when you're talking about it earlier, that, you know, God had told you something, I found that interesting, because what you're describing is, for someone who is maybe thinking it's going to be a burning bush moment or a parting the seas moment, that it can be as simple as you just get a feeling about something. And it's listening to those little feelings, and a whisper, and then it becomes a little bit louder and a little bit louder. And the more we connect to it, the more we become, oh my goodness, like I'll tell you, I had an experience once. I was driving up a hill and there was a blind spot because the hill was so steep. It's Dawes Hill in Coquitlam. And on the back side of it, it has this little dip down that it goes, and you can't see anything. So I was driving up that road one day, and all of a sudden I heard swerve, and I didn't even know, like I almost heard it outside of my head, and I swerved. Why did I do that? I just listened. And coming down on my side, but I couldn't see it because of the blind spot, someone was driving on the wrong side of the road, just bombing down there so fast, would have crashed into me. But that's the type of thing when people are asking. I think that is maybe what you're talking about. Is that, does that sound right?
Absolutely, yeah. It will. We have 12 angels with us all the time, and we also have spirit guides. But our angels will not let us go before our time. They will do something to get us out of the way, so we want to live. We signed a contract before we came of what we want to do, and all these problems we want to work through, we signed up for that. But see, the soul needs to have some problems so it can polish our soul in it like a diamond. Without the problem, we don't get to evolve. So we have to be thankful for problems, because that's how our soul evolved. It needs to be rough enough so it can be polished.
Well, that's beautiful. That I like that. Shine bright like a diamond. I mean, that's it is.
So the problems are really good because once you go through it, I have gone through like 20 lifetimes in this lifetime in terms of going through something and getting on the other side. I had a mini stroke, and I was able to keep talking and perform. No one knew it but me. God just got me through that. Had several accidents, and God got about 5, and God got me through those things.
My God.
I told you. So it's just all kinds of things. Plus, I had a business partner that stole $500,000 from me. So I just got through all those things. I had a nonprofit, and they stole $8,000 from me. So I've been through some stuff, but I've come, my soul is, I finished it. In fact, after it's over, just God told me that you passed the test. You don't know when you're having some rough time, you're going through a test. Yes. So once you get on the other side, you'll see, oh my God, that was a rough ride. But that's the test you passed. So be glad and thankful for a problem, because that's how your soul evolved to get to the next level. We have to have something to polish our soul. When I was younger, I heard this phrase, enter each life, some rain will fall. Some days will be dark and dreary. And I was prepared for life, because God didn't promise us a rose garden. We're here to evolve and to grow, to become more like the divine. And the only way you can do that is to go through something. Look what Jesus went through. So we're not even that far.
Right. We're going to go through some things. And I love that, because that's what it's about. It's when all these things are happening and you've been through some really tough things, and I know that listeners are listening right now and they're thinking, yeah, but you don't know. And we're just suggesting, stay grateful, find the joy. There's always a place in the midst of anything that's happening, if we can just stay focused on getting to the part where the joy is, finding what brings us joy right in the midst of a very difficult time. I love it. Well, that's amazing.
My first husband was schizophrenic. My second husband was bipolar, an alcoholic, had been in prison. I didn't know any of this stuff, but I'm past it now. But I went through that. I was only 25 years old. I thought, how did I get myself into this? Be with the schizophrenic and hearing voices and throwing food around in the room, and I was scared to death.
Yeah, wow.
I've evolved.
You have, and look at you now. It's beautiful. I am so sad that our time is coming to an end, and I am so grateful for just even a smidgen of your time, because you're such an amazing human being, And I am so grateful. So as we're signing out, I'm just going to invite all the listeners that when this is posted, this podcast, that all the information to get a hold of Dr. Ida Greene will be at the bottom of the podcast. You'll be able to find her. And is there anything that you would like to say to these fabulous people before we say our goodbyes today?
Yes, I would like to tell them increase their faith more, start trusting, stop doubting, start guessing, and start wanting to know all the answers. You don't want to know everything. Just allow and be in the moment and allow spirit to take over.
Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much. Well, everyone, this is Ali, and I'm signing off for Find Your Joy. Thank you so much for being a part of this, and please do contact Dr. Ida Greene. She has so much to offer. Thank you so much again for being here. Bye-bye, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you found a piece of your joy in this episode, I would love to hear about what came up for you so that we can continue to grow the impact of this show. Thanks again. See you soon. And remember, find your joy.